it says, let it hurt, period, let it heal, period, and then let it go, period. So it starts off by saying, let it hurt, right? And hurt, pain, trauma, these are things that are deep within us that we let fester inside of us, right? Stay stagnant and within ourselves and fester inside, then eventually they will change our whole entire body's chemical structure. Our chemistry changes. And letting the trauma and the pain stay inside of us, it throws off our entire mental capabilities, and it affects us physically, and it rips us apart spiritually. So it's something that I think is very unavoidable, meaning if I look back at all the hurt, all the trauma, and all of the pain inside of me, it almost became like the second nature for me. I remember before I knew what it all was, not letting it really affect me or bother me much. But then I realized, probably when I was a teenager, how the pain and the trauma and the hurt was actually truly affecting me. And I think when I was a teenager, I want to say around 12 years old, that's when all the chaotic stuff in my life started to happen. And I think it's because I had so much pain and trauma and hate inside of me at work, right? I kind of just let it all sit inside me without a way of healing, but we'll get to healing in a minute. If we let the pain and the trauma and the hate and the hurt and all this stuff stay inside of us, then it literally can turn us to live in a chaotic lifestyle. And I think that's what happened in my life. I knew I was hurting. It was like something that I dealt with constantly. And for me, I let the pain and the hurt affect me so much that I didn't want to feel them anymore. I literally obsessed over these feelings, and I got trapped in them. So when I found how beer and wine and these different cocktails and concoctions that I could drink, when I found out that these things could literally make me not hurt, it changed my world. They changed my world. Alcohol changed my world. And it felt good. I had no pain for the moments of time where I would be drinking, right? The dopamine, the chemicals in my brain released the feelings of feeling good. I was happy and I had no hurt. But the dangerous thing that came from failing however long, the effect of alcohol lasted, I would always come back to the pain, to the hurt, and the trauma would still be in my mind, right? I would relive all these false beliefs. I would relive that false sense of reality that I thought was my mind. And so it catapulted me into a cycle of disorder, right? I drank all the fucking time, and I didn't really love anything else, I drank, I had sex, I did drugs. I was careless because crying all alone, wanting to die, but not having the courage to actually commit suicide, right? My pain brought me to so many dark places. I remember I threw out all my journals, but I remember writing so many dark things. I mean, if I did read these journals today, it would hurt me because that's not who I am anymore. But I did the work, right? So we can jump into healing. The quote then goes on to say, let it heal. After you let it hurt, you let it heal. It took me forever to let it heal because I didn't know how to. All I knew was I didn't want it to hurt, so I didn't let it hurt, and I pushed everything down. And pushing things, avoiding things, all of that made it so much worse. So it made my healing process intensified by so much. I guess I only have, if I'm being honest, 2.5 years of actual true healing. Me, in present tense today, I am healed. I am happy. And maybe not 100%, but I want to say a good 95% of me is healed. And it took me 30 years to get to that place. So I'm not going to sit here and fabricate, a fairy tale story on how I got better. I will tell you that when your life becomes so disordered and so volcano-like, where it finally erupts and all the hot lava just spews out everywhere, then it sometimes, I'm not going to say always because, not everybody has the same journey, but that's when it leads you to heal. For me personally, I had a spiritual awakening. And I'm going to call it that because I truly believe that's what it was. When I was in the hospital, I had an out-of-body experience. And I saw myself from wherever I was. I looked down upon myself and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I knew that when I woke up inside my body, what I just saw was not a dream. But it was the universe. It was something greater than myself telling me that I needed to heal. It was my time in my journey to stop the hurt, to actually work on fixing my trauma and dealing with the pains. So I think for me, I got lucky because it doesn't happen that way for everybody, which is so sad. I just wish I had a magic wand where I could wave it around and fix everyone's trauma and pain and heal them instantly, because being healed in a world like the one we live in is kind of a magical thing. And you see life differently. Life is so beautiful. Their colors are even more vibrant. And I don't have a dark cloud hanging over me like before. And a big part of this was because I got sober. Before, in the hurt, when I wasn't sober, I was only masking my problems. And that never helped. It took me 30 years to realize that alcohol wasn't helping, that anything I was doing wasn't helping. And so before, I did multiple therapy sessions with multiple therapists. I did multiple programs where I would go away for weeks or for months and try to get help, and nothing worked. I would be put on numerous medications for depression and anxiety, and got diagnosed with so many different things, you name it, I was that, and I was trapped in so much chaos. Anyways, so none of that helped, and none of it helped because I never let it, but I had never wanted to. I never worked on it. I would always be drinking or doing drugs or having sex, like whatever changed my brain to trick it into it being happy for such a short period of time was enough. But I always came back for that same feeling. So this time around, 2.5 years ago, when I decided to enter the detox, I started my healing journey. I remember sitting there being like, here the fuck I am again. What am I doing with my life, you know? And I think that whole week, those 10 days, was the last moment I felt the darkness around me completely. Because every day I made an effort to change, and it was baby steps, you guys. I took it one day at a time, because that's what you have to do. So the quote says, let it hurt, let it heal, and then let it go. So for the and then let it go part, after we learn how to heal, you know, once we learn how to rewire our minds, our bodies, and our spirits, you know, after we heal everything around us, because that's where it truly lies. You don't just, you know, heal one part of this whole entire everything, you know, you heal your mind. I feel like you have to start at your mind. You heal your mental chatter first, then you fix yourself spiritually, and then you can fix yourself physically. It's just everything goes into everything in this life. And for me, I had to move to another state. I had to do a 6-month program instead of a weekend program where you go on the weekends and then you get to go home. No, like I had to separate myself from the world, from reality, deconstruct myself completely to get to the healing stage, to work on myself daily. Okay, like I broke myself down and apart and then rebuilt myself. That's how I got to where I am today. And that's how I am so strong. It's not for everybody. I sit here and I think about that because I wish it was. I wish everybody could get it like that. But that's not the case. I was in that program for half a year, right? And I saw hundreds of people in and out. The devil and the darkness and anything that takes your shadow side and keeps it and keeps you stuck in that nasty lifestyle. It's sad. It's bad. And if you're stuck in that lifestyle, reach out to me. I don't have all the advice. You know, I don't know everything, but I can give you advice from my experiences. So I think once you get past accepting the trauma and get past being in denial, accepting everything for what it is, accepting you need to change, accepting you need help, and once you are in the healing process and you've dealt with the trauma and dealt with the pain and that you're healing, right? So I think then you can learn to let it go. Because if you tell someone, oh, let it go, you know, like that in itself is easier said than done. But letting a lot of baggage go, letting a lot of destruction go is so freeing. It frees you so there's space to let in stuff that is right in front of you. Today, I can sit with myself in the present and my mind isn't wandering to things that have happened in my past. I can sit here today with no regrets and realize and see that things that I have went through, things I've witnessed, things from my past were all lessons, and we're all building blocks to get me where I am today. And I can sit in the present and be present It's amazing. I'm so happy, you guys. And I am so full of light and love. And along with the healing, like, you have to learn how to treat yourself better. Like, if you don't love yourself first, how are you going to love anybody else? And I realized I was running away from loving myself, letting God love me, because I didn't feel like I was lovable. I didn't feel like I deserved anything before. And a lot of that was from my trauma, from being adopted, from thinking that my mom didn't want me, from not fitting in my adopted family, to not fitting in school with, the richer, put together kids who had each other and had families and blah, blah, blah. Life is so hard. It's never going to be easy. But there are things we can do to make it easier. And where I am today, it's not the end. But where I am today, it's worth it. And I believe that each and every one of you are worth it. All I want to do is help you guys. That's kind of a big part of why I made this podcast, why I started this, because you can sit there and battle yourself within your mind, and you'll let it consume you. Go drink, and then after you'll still feel the same way, right? Or you could sit here, listen to my podcast. Maybe I can give you some advice that you didn't think about. Even message me and I can talk to you. But I'm here for the advice. I'm here to show you your worth. Little things help too. I really got into the spiritual side of things when I was away in the program, and I read a lot of spiritual books. I practice meditation more than I ever have. I fully I fully put my faith into my yoga practice, and I work out and I run. I adopted 2 dogs after losing, my Zila girl. But I just surround myself with positivity, and I let shit go because I can. If you asked me if I could let anything go 2.5 years ago, where I was, I would have said no. And I would have been out there trying to avoid the hurt and pain that I was experiencing. But that's it. Let it hurt, you guys. First let it hurt, then let it heal, and then let it go. It's a cycle. I am here to help. So, love you. Have a great day.